We're hearing from the woman at the center of this rough arrest. The confrontation led to that Miami Gardens officer being fired from the force and facing charges.
Local 10's Terrell Fournier joins us live from Miami with more on what she had to say. Terrell?
And that young woman describes this entire ordeal as humiliating and embarrassing. She spoke out just a short time ago with her attorney here at her attorney's office, and they both say that this incident culminated when that officer put his knee on her neck, literally restricting her ability to fully scream at the time. The screams are ear-piercing, the video gut-wrenching to watch, but no one feels it more than Sophia Mitchell.
I don't watch it.
For the first time since that January incident outside of Tootsie's Cabaret in Miami Gardens, the victim is speaking out.
I was scared for my life. The point when he was tasing me, I didn't know if I was being shot or tased.
Get back! The officer who confronted Sophia that night on a trespassing warning and pulled her out of her own car has since been fired from Miami Gardens PD. And last week, Yordi Yanez Martel, who had been on the force for just 2 years, was arrested on charges of official misconduct.
We'll see only on Local 10 new footage showing a rough arrest involving several Miami Gardens officers. 2 of those cops now fired from the force.
And tonight, one of the victims is speaking with Local 10 about that encounter. Our Terrell Fournier is live now in Miami Gardens with our exclusive tonight at 11. Terrell.
Well, there was punching, there was kicking, there was even guns drawn. And tonight we know that those friends, a group of friends, just stopped for gas at a gas station here in Miami Gardens. But since that incident, there has been surveillance video and cell phone video that investigators believe shows a clear-cut case of excessive force. Cell phone video shows an officer punching and then tussling with a man. Let me get your hands. Stop. Another video shows officers breaking the driver's side window of a truck and then with guns drawn, aimed at a different man who was already on the ground. His name, Miguel.
I wasn't doing nothing to prompt them.
Since that March 21st encounter, officers Javier Castano and Yordi Yanez Martel were initially relieved of duty over excessive force allegations. Wednesday, things changed. In a statement, the chief says, "I terminated the officers because the behavior was egregious and will not be tolerated at the Miami Gardens Police Department. The matter is currently still an open, active criminal investigation."
I want to see more done than them just getting fired. I want criminal charges.
The incident happened at this racetrack gas station on Northwest 191st Street and 2nd Avenue 2 months before the knee-to-the-neck police killing of George Floyd.
This is an active investigation. You're not going to be recording.
Multiple videos show a heavy-handed approach by officers who were responding to the business over a complaint that someone was performing donuts or a street maneuver. Miguel's friend was the man initially taken into custody before officers turned on him. That's Miguel, seen on the ground. Officers Martel and Castano above.
So when they went to put my hands behind my back, one of the officers came and kicked me in my face.
The bruising, as seen in this photo, has since subsided, but Miguel says he still deals with neck and back pain and flashbacks from a night that never should have happened.
I don't fight with officers. I don't give nobody.
This on a Bob Norman investigation. The Miami Gardens Police Department has stripped a sergeant of his badge and gun and barred him from the police department.
The move comes only after Local 10 reported on allegations that sergeant kidnapped a woman he was supposed to help. Here's Bob Norman with the latest on a story he broke.
This is a Miami Gardens police notice warning all officers to keep an eye out for this man. Not a convicted criminal, but one of their own. Police Sergeant Javier Romaguera, who's now been stripped of his badge and gun and locked out of the departmental offices.
This is something that should have been done 6 months ago.
For attorney Stephen Lopez, it's too little too late. He's representing a mentally ill young woman who alleges Romaguera kidnapped her back in July while on duty.
Giving a transport of black female.
That's Romaguera on the police radio back in July when he claimed he was transporting the woman who was acting erratically to her prior residence. But homeowner Junior Benjamin told Local 10 that never took place. Never? It didn't happen. The woman said Roma Guerra instead took her to the Stadium Hotel, where he booked a room and touched her breasts.
He tried to kiss me too. I said, no, don't touch me, because I'm crying.
She said Roma Guerra did stop and left her alone in the hotel room. Lopez obtained the hotel receipt showing Roma Guerra indeed paid for a room that night. An internal affairs complaint was quickly filed, but it wasn't until Local 10 began asking questions that Roma Guerra was taken off the road, and now he's been relieved of duty. There's allegations that you kidnapped a woman.
No comment.
Roma Guerra answered no questions when I caught up with him in October. Took her
No
to
comment,
the Stadium
sir.
Hotel.
No comment.
Did not report it.
Can you please get off my property?
Tried to have sex with her.
It's about time that they took some sort of action to protect the community and to protect the victim.
In Miami Gardens,
Allegation harassment and interpersonal relationships are now dogging a South Florida police department.
A love triangle allegedly involving the now former Miami Gardens police chief is being exposed tonight, and taxpayers may foot the bill with the city on official notice that a hefty lawsuit is coming.
Here's investigator Bob Norman with a special report you'll only see on Local 10.
When you take this job, you have an understanding.
in November 2015, Antonio Brooklyn landed his dream job, Miami Gardens police chief.
The violence against our community must stop.
But less than a year in, Brooklyn abruptly resigned, citing his mother's illness and writing, "My mother, wife, and children are my heart, and I live for them." Brooklyn echoed that when I recently caught up with him at his home. Was that the real reason you resigned?
My mom means the world to me. My wife means the world to me. My kids mean the world.
But attorney Stephen Lopez says there was another reason.
Facts will show he left after these allegations.
Those allegations involve a love triangle that included Brooklyn and two young female police officers, Kalisha Battle and Kimberly McDonald. Hi.
Hi.
Hi, are you Kimberly?
No.
McDonald refused comment, but her attorney Rick Diaz confirmed that Brooklyn began dating her roughly 2 years ago when she was a rookie.
What are you thinking? You don't do that. You know, you're the chief. It's an abuse of power.
It's also in violation of policy, which dictates that permission must be given for such relationships. At the same time, McDonald was also dating Officer Battle, herself a rookie.
Alicia Battle was in a relationship with Kimberly McDonald, but there was an outside influence, and that was the chief of police.
Lopez is representing Battle, and he alleges that Brooklyn sexually harassed his client as well.
Battle can testify to that, and she has written proof of that.
Lopez and Battle say these texts came from Brooklyn while Battle was in the application process. One in which the chief allegedly wrote, "I want to feel you," and another where he allegedly asked to see her while she's out at a bar. Battle told me on the phone that Brooklyn once touched her inappropriately in a police car.
She was sexually harassed by Brooklyn, knowing that she was a lesbian.
The situation exploded April 18th when Battle and McDonald became involved in a physical domestic dispute at McDonald's home. An investigation began, during which Battle claims Brooklyn personally pressured her to resign with a promise he could help her get another job.
Whether he would take care of her and that he would make phone calls for her to either work in another department or he would bring her back. That never came through.
Lopez sent an intent to sue letter to the city just 3 days prior to Brooklyn's resignation last September. Can you talk about the sexual harassment allegations?
I don't know of any sexual harassment that occurred.
Brooklyn was tight-lipped on the allegations. Well, did you have a relationship with Kimberly McDonald while you were chief?
Comment.
So you're not going to deny that?
I have no comment.
McDonald's now suspended with pay. Both Diaz and Lopez say they blame the city for appointing Brooklyn chief in the first place.
Chief Antonio Brooklyn engaged in, sexual harassment throughout the course of his tenure at the Miami Gardens Police Department.
Before becoming chief, Brooklyn was suspended for 30 days and demoted back in 2009 and was investigated when a female crime scene technician alleged he sexually harassed her with calls and texts. An internal investigation found considerable inappropriate behavior on Brooklyn's part.
Was he the best guy out there for the job? Please. You don't put somebody in there who's got baggage, in my opinion.
Can you comment on the hiring? Mayor Oliver Gilbert, a friend and fraternity brother of Brooklyn's, refused comments. Do you regret hiring him, Mayor? I mean, you knew he had a history of sexual harassment. Was that a mistake?
We're trying to have our city council meeting. And while I appreciate that you want to
Well, we have a minute. You can just address it real quick.
We actually don't have a minute. We're about to start right now.
Attorney Diaz said he's exploring legal action against the city on behalf of McDonald as well, but he said right now she just wants to get back to work. In Miami Gardens.
Another tough takedown caught on camera.
This time, a Miami Gardens cop is seen throwing a teenage girl to the ground. Let's get right out to Local 10 News reporter Todd Tongan. He is live with the exclusive. Todd.
This happened a week ago today, and Miami Gardens police say that this is an area where they routinely come, get called to about fights. It's near some schools. They came here on that day. They say it was a very chaotic situation. They say that the person that they took down was wearing a hoodie. They didn't know whether it was a boy or a girl, and here's how it went down. This tough takedown of a teen is making the rounds on social media.
It's like, what? No, that's not necessary.
A family member that didn't want to be identified says last Thursday, April 18th, a Miami Gardens police officer used unnecessary force to arrest a 16-year-old girl police say was interfering as officers responded to a fight.
My heart was broken. I could not believe this happened. She's on the fence, and the next thing he picks her up and body slams her. He's like 3 times bigger than she is.
Miami Gardens police say they are already investigating the incident. The initial dispatch was over a fight near Carroll City Middle School outside of St. Monica Catholic Church, including what transpired before the video starts rolling. If that was a violent perpetrator or a man, say the size of me, that was not listening to the officer's commands, do you think that would have been appropriate use of force?
Yeah, not on a child, not on any child.
As to why the officer threw the girl to the ground so forcefully, the girl says,
she said something about she felt like he touched the woman officer, but she told me she was reaching for her friend. Because they said that she wouldn't be charged, it wouldn't be on her record, but I don't know what's happening.
But she may have to do community service?
Right, and to me, if she's got to do community service, then that means you're charging her with something.
The family hopes any pending charges will be dropped, and Miami Gardens police will keep their use of force in check.
I am happy that they are investigating. He needs to probably have his head checked out for a little bit or some retraining.
And we just received a statement from the police chief, Noel Pratt, just moments ago. It says, in part, the investigation will include a review of all actions to include those of the officer and the individual who was arrested. We are asking that the public not rush to judgment. That family member told me that the girl said that she had hurt her hand, but she didn't go and seek any medical treatment. She should be fine.
Friday night at New at 11, a salacious lawsuit just filed against one South Florida city centered on its former police chief.
The suit technically claims employment discrimination, but goes far beyond that, involving a love triangle, a strip club, and numerous claims of sexual harassment. CBS 4's Silva Harpetian is live in Miami Gardens with the bombshell details. Silva.
Well, Antonio Brooklyn was the Miami Gardens police chief for a little bit less than a year. He resigned 3 days after receiving a letter from a police officer that he was going to be sued in regards to these allegations. Here's what we know about that lawsuit now. The suit claims that the former police officer, Calicia Battle, was forced to resign, that her resignation was the end result of her rejecting the sexual advances made by then Chief of Police Antonio Brooklyn. Battle claims when she was applying to become a police officer, Brooklyn asked to meet with her at a strip club, Tootsie's Cabaret. Battle claims Chief Brooklyn kissed her on the cheek without her consent. On another occasion, the lawsuit says Chief Brooklyn began groping her. At one point, Battle claims, while in the chief's office with the door closed, Chief Brooklyn put his hands in her pants. Battle says she tried to keep a distance and ignore the chief's calls, but he would regularly threaten to get her in trouble and joke that she didn't want to go back to working as a security guard. The relationship became even more complicated when Battle began dating another police officer, Kimberly McDonald, who, according to the suit, was also sleeping with former police chief Brooklyn. McDonald is said to have confided in Battle, saying that the chief was physically abusive and she was afraid of him. Fearing for McDonald's safety, Battle in the lawsuit says she paid her an unannounced visit at her home, during which time the couple had a domestic scuffle. The incident was reported to Internal Affairs. Battle claims she was unlawfully detained for 4 hours and threatened to be charged with stalking, armed burglary, and battery. Battle says she told Internal Affairs that she had proof that her relationship with McDonald was consensual, and the suit says Chief Brooklyn told Officer Battle that if she did not resign from the department, he would force McDonald to reopen the fabricated criminal case against her and ruin her career. She claims the chief blocked her being hired at other law enforcement departments. And it was at that point that this lawsuit was filed. We should tell you when the chief resigned, he said he was resigning to take care of a sick mother.